And then before I let you go, I just want to get your guys' quick take, nothing in depth, but just very quickly on the Philly-Atlanta game. A lot of people have been speculating that Philly is just, they were said that they had a dream team this year and that they're just a huge powerhouse and that they're the kind of team that's going to be a huge favorite in every game once the market catches up. But because, and last week they did, get one of those wins that people were expecting from them. Now they're right now only a 1.5 point road favorite at Atlanta. Just quickly, do you think that this number is way too low? Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's too low. I think Philly's a pretty good team. They've got problems at linebacker. They continue to go with Casey Matthews there, the middle linebacker, and I'm not sure he's somebody they should be starting in there. And obviously they have problems on the offensive line, but they got a lot of talent. They added, a lot of guys in the defensive line. That's a big defensive line right now that hopefully can play with Atlanta if they want to try to play smash mouth ball with them. And they've got the secondary now with their quarterbacks that can certainly hang with Roddy White and Julio Jones and Harry Douglas, whoever else they throw out there. So defensively, they can certainly challenge them. And then offensively, I mean, these guys are loaded with obviously Jackson, Macklin, McCoy, Vick, obviously.
Right.
I just think they have a lot more talent. I don't respect Atlanta. I went against them last week. I went against them last year when they played the Packers. Atlanta didn't really beat very many good teams last year. And the games that they did win, they won by a few points. I just don't have a lot of respect for them. Philly, I think, has a lot of talent. They've got their own deficiencies, but I don't think Atlanta is a team that can take advantage of the issues that Philly has. And they're on a fast track there, and I think they'll win this game rather easily. They did beat them last year in Philly without Michael Vick, I think 31-17 or something like that. The game wasn't even as close to that score. So I think Philly's a much better team, and I expect them to roll over Atlanta.
Right. I mean, that is exactly what some people on SBR are speculating, but then they look at the line and say that it might be a trap. Robert, what do you think about this line? Do you think in a few months we'll look back on this game and say that it should have been 7 points or more?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you're always going to say that just because hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
You have to remember that there is so much emotion wrapped up in this game. This is, next to the games against New Orleans, this is Atlanta's biggest game of the year. I live in the Atlanta area, so I can tell you they're preparing for Armageddon down here. I also agree that the line is definitely too low because not just last year, but I think the last 3 times that they've played, Philadelphia has beaten Atlanta all 3 times by an aggregate score of like 92-38 or something like that. It has not been competitive. I also agree that Atlanta was one of the most overhyped, overrated teams coming into this league. My models had them missing the playoffs completely about 46% of the time, and I predicted that they would start the regular season no better than 2-3. They have a brutal opening month of the season. Also, when I look at Atlanta's defense, where are the playmakers? If they're supposed to be a Super Bowl contender, where are really the superstar defenders on that Atlanta defense? You have John Abraham, who he's kind of aging. I'm a big fan of Brett Grimes, but beyond that, what really is there? There's not much to scare me. Philadelphia, they're not as good as people think they are. They're not as good as they think they are. But they do have an outstanding system, and right now I definitely think that they're the better team. And just like we talked about with Pittsburgh before, it's got to be a huge red flag to people that Atlanta was so non-competitive in Chicago. The Bears are an underrated team. They played great at home. They had a lot of situational factors pointing to them as a live home dog. But Atlanta just rolled over in that game. So I don't think you can have a ton of confidence in them coming back home and just overwhelming a Philadelphia team that's kind of been there, done that, a lot of experienced guys, and they've played in and won a lot of big games recently.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. Great call. Robert Ferringo from DocSports.com and Scott Kellen from 6centsports.com. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.